In this video, we're going head-to-head, dissertation versus thesis. We'll explain what these two terms mean, the ways in which they're similar, and, most importantly, how they're different. If you're working on a dissertation or thesis, be sure to grab our free downloadable templates, which include detailed guidance for each chapter within a typical dissertation or thesis. You can find the links to those in the description below. All right, so what's the difference between a dissertation and a thesis? Well, it's first useful to understand what both of these are and what they have in common. Dissertations and theses are both formal academic research projects. In other words, they're academic projects that involve you undertaking research in a structured, systematic way. The research process typically involves the following steps: asking a well-articulated and meaningful research question or questions, assessing what other researchers have said in relation to that question. This is usually called a literature review. You can learn more about that up here. Undertaking your own research using a clearly justified methodology. This often involves some sort of field work, such as interviews or surveys. And lastly, deriving an answer to your research question based on your analysis. In other words, theses and dissertations are both formal, structured research projects that involve using a clearly articulated methodology to draw out insights and answers to your research questions. So in this respect, they are, for the most part, the same thing. But how are they different then? Well, the key difference between a dissertation and a thesis is, for the most part, the level of study. In other words, undergrad, master, or PhD. By extension, this also means that the complexity and rigorousness of the research differs between dissertations and theses. So, which is which? Well, this is where it gets a bit confusing. The meaning of dissertation or thesis varies depending on the country or region of study. For example, in the UK, a dissertation is generally the research project that complete at the end of a master's level degree, whereas a thesis is completed for a doctoral level degree. Conversely, the terminology is flipped around in the US and some other countries. In other words, a thesis is completed for a master's level degree, while a dissertation is completed for a PhD or any other doctoral level degree. Simply put, a dissertation and a thesis are essentially the same thing, but at different levels of study. The exact terminology varies from country to country, and sometimes it even varies between universities in the same country. Some universities will also refer to this type of project as Capstone Project, just to confuse things some more. In addition, some universities will also require an oral exam or viva voce, especially for doctoral level projects. For more info about that, check out this video. Given that there are more than 25,000 universities scattered across the globe, all of this terminological complexity can cause some confusion. To be safe, make sure that you thoroughly read the brief provided by your university for your dissertation or thesis. And if possible, visit the university library to have a look at past students' projects. This will help you get a feel for your institution's norms and spot any nuances in terms of their specific requirements so that you can give them exactly what they want. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and leave a comment. For more videos like this, check out the Grad Coach channel and subscribe for plain language, actionable advice covering all things research related. Remember, you can also grab those free templates for your dissertation or thesis on our blog. I'll include the link to that down below. Lastly, if you're looking for one-on-one support with your dissertation, thesis, or research project, be sure to check out our private coaching service, where we hold your hand throughout the research process, step by step. You can learn more about that and book a free initial consultation at gradcoach.com.